Welcome to the podcast where I talk about what really shapes our health, not just our habits, but our mindset. I'm April, a health and weight loss coach who is on my own journey to lose weight, rebuild confidence, and most importantly, change the way I think about myself and my goals. Each week, I will talk about the real challenges of weight loss, the ups and the downs, and the powerful roles that our thoughts play in transforming our bodies and our lives. Whether you're just getting started, feeling stuck, or ready to level up your results, this is the space for real talk and a reminder that change always starts from within. So take a deep breath, get comfortable, and let's get into it. So, this week is going to be a little bit different because I want to share that a little bit more personal of where I'm at in my own journey. And I've talked about it in previous podcasts that I've had weight gain and I haven't really known exactly how much. And so it's gotten to the point it's the end of the year. I'm thinking about, and I've been talking about like how to handle the end of the year, looking into the new year. And then I started thinking about myself and where this year has been, where it's taken me. And um, I also will admit that I've been kind of putting something off. And one of those things is reading the letter that I wrote to myself last year. So I've encouraged people to write letters to themselves that they can read later on during tough times or after they've had a goal for a few months, and then they can read the letter, see where they were a few months ago, assess things, and it's awfully helpful to see where you were and see where you are, right? So last year, I was having a difficult time with my birthday and the holidays and not having my mom here for them, and definitely was using food to cope, comforting myself with food. So I wrote myself a letter to open up on November 22nd, which I don't know if you can see if you're watching the video. I wrote it on the envelope because my birthday is on November 27th. I did not read the letter. Um, and I found it, and I still did not read it. And then a couple weeks have passed, obviously, because we're in December, and I found the letter again, and I thought, okay, let me read the letter. So bear with me. I am going to share the letter for a few reasons. One, to show people what I mean by writing yourself a letter, how I did it, how that might help you see and get an idea of how to maybe do that for yourself. And also to explain why it's important to try this exercise for yourself. So I do tend to stumble when I read out loud to others, so bear with me, please. I'll do the best I can. Um, Hello, my friend. You have just gotten through your 49th birthday, Thanksgiving, Christmas without your mom, and navigating Kevin grieving not having his dad around during the holiday as well. This is a time of year that welcomes joy, but also brings the reality of sadness for those no longer with us. Your mom has been gone for 4 years now. That is for birthdays and holiday seasons. Each event, each year, and each day brings new challenges, but also creates lessons you can take with you. One lesson is learning that you want to remember her, celebrate her, and miss her while still connecting with people, while still actively doing things that make you feel good and proud of yourself. No matter how you handle anything, and no matter how you cope, be proud. Your mom was proud of you, and you can always honor her by remaining proud of yourself. 2024 birthday and holiday season weight gain occurred. That is okay. You are okay. You have learned that this is not your goal for the future holidays and birthdays. I want you to take a moment and remember how you felt after overeating during this time, the heaviness in your body, the tiredness of your body, the emotional emptiness from knowing this isn't truly how to take care of yourself. I am writing to you today so you can read this before your next birthday and holiday season of 2025. You will be turning 50. And of course, you will want your mom there. You will think of how she's always made your favorite chocolate devil's food cake with homemade vanilla frosting and chocolate sprinkles. You may start to feel the sadness and emptiness wash over you. You may feel the desire to tune out things. You may stop listening to your podcasts. You may stop texting people. You may stop sending Marco Polo to friends. You may start to retreat. You may start to carry around your hurt in silence. I am here writing to tell you that this is not the way. You are capable of taking better care of yourself during this time. Let's think of how we can move through this time without attempting to silence our feelings with food. List of possibilities: writing to yourself, writing to your mom, writing to Kevin or a friend, calling Frida, that's my godmother, taking a walk, baking on your own and remembering the joy you had baking with your mom, singing, getting a manicure, getting a pedicure, watching a movie, watching the fire. The possibilities are endless. Just keep in mind that numbing out with food leaves us feeling heavy in our mind, body, and spirit. So, again, I shared that so you could give an example of what it means to write a letter to your future self and where you are at that time. I also shared it because once I read it, it really reminded me that this is not what I want to be doing. So it got me thinking about the things we avoid doing are often the things that are best for us. So after I read the letter, I also got on the scale and I did real numbers instead of just guesstimating what I might have been gaining. And I've gained 30 pounds since the beginning of this year. So a lot of it was due to therapy and going back to eating habits, old eating habits, but not to the point where I've gained all of the weight that I lost back. I have maintained 50 pounds gone. I'm proud of that. Is gaining 30 pounds what I planned for myself this year? No. Now it's December 6th when I'm recording this. We have about 3 or 4 weeks left of the month. I could say, you know what? I'll deal with it in January. It's almost impossible for me to do that after reading this letter. The impact of reading that letter and seeing it, seeing how I was talking to myself, what I wanted for myself, I can't turn the other cheek anymore, kind of. It's just kind of like, how could I do that to myself? So avoiding it was not beneficial. Reading it, super beneficial. Um, And so I sat down and I started thinking about what I can do. And I've made a couple of days ago, started making my plans for the day and assessing my plans, like I've talked to everybody before here about, and also making a point to read this letter each day. And I think that's something I'm going to do for quite some time, is read this letter to start my day, to really keep in mind what I want for myself, the importance of it, and the importance for others in my life, because they want the best for me as well. So this is, forgive me if I feel a little trembly or a little lost for words this time. Um, but it really, I cannot express how impactful it was. And I'm going to write another letter for myself to open up in February, because my mom's birthday is in February. So I'm going to open it on February 1st and I'm going to give it to Kevin to give to me. So that way I know I will read it. Again, if you have people in your life that can support you, reach out to them, ask them if they mind doing it. If they are in your life, most likely they will not mind doing it for you. So always reach out to people, but keep in mind, it really brought me back to thinking about avoidance. I had been avoiding the scale. I had been avoiding reading the letter. And reading the letter, I avoided, I think mostly because it was just connecting to my mom. And the reason I knew I wrote the letter was processing losing my mom. And I didn't remember what I had written in it, to be honest. It was last year, and I didn't know what state I was in mentally when I wrote it, if it was like super emotional. So I didn't really know what to expect when I read it, but it was exactly what I needed to hear right now. And I have every intention of going through the next 3 or 4 weeks, really being mindful and aware and not tuning out. I could put it off to January, as some people may, and that's fine too. You have to make the choice for you. But I do invite those who are questioning, or they might be hearing a little thought in their head, maybe I should just still try. Absolutely still try. Any day that you can wake up willing to do something that feels good to you and helps you have a life that you feel good about is absolutely what you want to do for yourself. So that is my message this time, is to really think about what matters to you and how you want to take care of yourself and how you want to show up for yourself. And realizing that avoiding information is just holding you back. It's keeping you sat in your seat instead of lifting you up and helping you move forward. So, with this podcast as well, I want to share that things will be changing with the podcast. So if you've been listening from the beginning, you know there was a change. Debbie had decided to leave the podcast, and I'm continuing forward. That's not changing. But in the new year, there will be changes to the name, changes to possibly how I do the content, what I share. I do think I'm going to incorporate a little bit more of my personal journey. So those who are still actively in their journey, I can share it with you so you can know you're not alone. Gaining weight is part of the process for many people. And I looked up articles to share statistics and all of this, but I think you can get that by Googling on your own. But know that if you Google weight gain during weight loss journeys, super high percentage. You are not alone. You are not so broken that it can't be fixed, right? That you cannot continue to work on yourself. And any time that anybody gains weight on a weight loss journey, it can be super defeating. And absolutely, I feel those things. I felt disappointed. I still feel disappointed. I'm 30 pounds more away from what I want to be. And that took me a lot to process, but I wanted to share that too because that is part of the process. And I brought in a whole new situation into my life with therapy that brought a lot back that I wasn't prepared for. And it's natural that I possibly went back to old coping habits with food. And I've talked about it before too, if you've listened, that I am now 50, as I keep sharing. I feel like the more I say it, the more used to it I'll get. Um, but I only found this type of thought work like 3 or 4 years ago, 2022. So 3 years ago, it'll be 4 years, I guess, in January. But the point is, I have been using food as a coping mechanism for 45 years, essentially, right? And it's a habit that is going to always be there to some point, but I continue to work to have it not be the main focus that I go to every time or the main choice. Because again, it's always about choices. And I don't want it to be the very first choice every time. And this year, it has been the primary choice. At the same time, I've never stopped trying every day to do other things as well. Drinking my water, going to bed on time, being aware, restarting in the sense of like, okay, today's a new day. Let's just focus on what I can do today. So I've never been 100% out, but I definitely am now wanting to stop having that be my number one go-to to deal with whatever might come up emotionally through this therapy process. And this letter, I think, is going to be a very powerful tool. And as I said, my intention is to read it daily, whether it's when I first get up or before I go to bed, um, just depending on how my day goes. But it really, really brings me back to focusing on myself, wanting to care for myself, and wanting to show up for myself the way I know that would make people proud and myself proud. So that is my message for now. And again, too, with the changes in the upcoming year, I'm super excited and I'm super grateful for Laura. She is a friend who reached out to help me continue on with the podcast. So all of her input has been super helpful. And we will be working together, and we are both very excited to see what we bring in the new year. Here, I will be here sharing my story, and hopefully through my story, encouraging others. And what I learned can hopefully help other people as well. And the things that I've learned through my life coaching and health coaching certification program, I will be actively using. That's the other thing too. Like, you go through life coaching and health coaching certification, and I myself think like, oh, I should be able to just coach myself. But that's kind of the point. You learn these tools. We all know what to do. It's not really a mystery, right? There's so many people out there telling us what we can do to lose weight and how to eat healthy and how to move. But a coach is so helpful because it's kind of like I always compare it to football or any kind of sport, right? The players know the plays, they know what to do, they know to work out, they know the exercises they need to do, they know the playbook, they've studied it, they're on the field. And somebody is in their ear giving a direction. There's a defense coach, there's an offense, there's all the different coaches because in the time when things are coming at you, you might need help in really remembering what your playbook is and pointing out, hey, we talked about when this comes up, this is what you want to do. You might think that you want to do this, but when the moment's over, you really want to take a walk because you're going to feel better after that instead of eating the cookies or whatever it is. So that is something that, or an accountability partner. You don't have to hire a coach. It can be an accountability partner. It could be, as I talked about in previous podcasts, you can create your own Facebook page, share your own story, reach out to people. Part of why I do the podcast is to help others, but it also helps myself. It reminds me of why I want to do this for myself and how much I believe that the way we think about ourselves and the way we listen to ourselves over other people in the moments that we need to for ourselves is so impactful, right? There are people who could tell me, you'll never lose the weight. They might believe that. I believe that no matter what, I am going to keep trying and I will get there one way or another. I will figure it out and I will get there. And you can absolutely figure it out and get there as well. So please stay connected to yourself, listen to yourself. Always remember to wake up willing to do something that feels good to you. Thank you for listening. If you found this helpful, please like it, comments. I love seeing them. Share it with people. I would love for other people to get to hear the podcast if it could be helpful to them. And I will see you next week for another conversation to keep you moving forward. And as always, remember to wake up willing to do something that feels good to you. Bye.